But if you don't have a ton of space, well, this will work fine for you. First, we're going to start out with our arms out. You guys know this, and we're going to go arm swings like this, okay? Normally, I tell y'all how to do this, but I mean, I don't know if you guys can always see what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this way, okay? So you can see my ribs and my back here, and I'm going to go ahead and keep doing this. And what we're looking for is the arms to go up and extend tall and allow them to have that range of motion, but not let our ribs open up, okay? And our bottom to slide back. We want to keep everything in, okay? So if you see, got this going here, but when I'm here, it's tall, but it's not moving through the ribs. The ribs and the hips are staying in place, that line. The ribs are pushing into the back and up, in and up, underneath that shoulder as it lifts. Okay, so I want you to work on that. And we shouldn't have a lot of movement this way either. It should just be straight ahead. Okay, and then we're going to just do some arm circles. I'm just checking to make sure I'm not going to hit my hand on the ceiling fan. Always good to check your environment. And forward. Okay, we're going to do that. Go ahead and do that for about 30 seconds to a minute. And then just do some arm crosses. Some of these stretches I'll sit in with you for the time. Some of them you know and you do well, so I'm going to touch base on them and then let you guys work through that. Okay, go ahead and bounce out your shoulders. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our arms in front like this, and these are going to be very much like setting. Okay, so you're going to go up, up, up. Now this is really good for just kind of feeling what's happening in the ribs and the hips. Okay, you can focus on your head, not throwing back. Okay, so what we're doing is, again, you're going to be pushing the ribs in and up. Okay, they're going to go in and up. It's going to help push up underneath that shoulder. And you're not going to want to let them just be loose and come out. So if I'm doing this correctly, it should look like this. Okay, if I'm doing it incorrectly, it's going to be like, okay, as soon as the arms, you can see it's almost like there's a string attached to my hips. As soon as the arms come up, see the hips want to start sliding forward. And then when I hit our point at which we kind of start to lose our flexibility in our shoulders, we compensate by pushing our ribs. So it looks like my arms are up, and technically they are, but if I were to take my ribs and put them where they're supposed to be, we can see that they're actually not much in an upward position at all, okay? We want to be able to get this position without the ribs causing it to happen. If my ribs are open now, see how I'm leaning way back. So if we actually achieve up, but we're still in the habit of letting our ribs do this, we can see how we can eventually be throwing our back tucks and everything all the way across the floor, okay? So that's a really good drill. Next thing we're going to do, just to get the legs warmed up a little bit, so we're going to do just kicking our bottom. Now, the trick is when we do this, if we simply lift our leg, okay, and bring our heel to our bottom, but our knee is in front, we're not going to feel much of anything. So we want to push our knee slightly behind us and then bring it in. So it'll be boom, 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 just like this. It's not a huge stretch, okay, not a massive stretch. Just to warm up, okay? Maybe it's more of a warm up for me than it is for you, okay? I gotta do this. But it's good. It's good to get the blood flowing, kind of get the muscles to kind of feel what's about to be happening, okay? So, there we go. You can kind of shake your legs out, okay? All right, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with just bending down and reaching for our toes, okay? You wanna try to get your hands on the ground, your fingers on the ground, flat hands on the ground would be good, okay? Just kind of stretch it out. Come up, shake your legs out again. We're gonna do that again, and stretching down. Then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna turn sideways, and we're gonna work on going from a tuck to standing and adding some rules in there to help with the stretch. So you can go to your tuck. It's okay if you're up on the balls of your feet. Okay, hands flat. They don't have to be way out here. They don't have to be way back here. They just be comfortably sitting. Make sure your knees are on the inside of your arms. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to straighten our legs. Let's just do that without anything else. Let's just see how we straighten our legs. We're not even thinking about anything else. Okay? Okay. So you can see there's a little bit of space right here, okay, between my chest, my ribs, and my legs, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add that as our rule. Right now, you should feel your legs compressed into your ribs and your chest, okay? Because you're in this crouched tuck position. So when we straighten them, we're gonna try to pretend that our ribs are glued to our legs. So we're gonna come up, and my ribs are still on my legs, okay? And my ribs are still on my legs, and they're there. Oh, they're fighting it, and they're still on my legs. So you can see I got rid of that space, okay? Got rid of that space there, okay? And then we're gonna come down. Now, if you can't get your legs all the way straight, that's okay. Come up, maybe you get here, really feel your ribs and your stomach pushing on those legs, and just try to do the best you can to straighten, okay? All right, if you can, straighten all the way out here. You can even pull your toes up, okay? You can do that too, if you're super flexible. Okay, so you're gonna do that 5 times. Just come up to here as much as you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back down, okay? Then what we're gonna do, kind of shake out your legs, your arms. Then what we're gonna do, and do a narrow straddle stand, okay? I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what's happening, but so narrow, it doesn't want to be wide. We're not like way out here, okay? Just right here, okay? Narrow straddle, just right here, okay? You're going to turn sideways. We're going to do basically the positioning. We're just going to reach down, okay? Hands aren't way out here. They can be if you feel like, you know, you have some flexibility issues which keep you from having straight legs. So you can be out here. Okay, right here, and what we're going to do is you're going to push your ribs. See how I was round here? We're going to push them down, okay? I'm going to keep some weight pushing into my palms. And I'll be down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just very easily push my ribs in towards my legs in a half circle motion back towards my legs, from one leg to the other. So just circling, okay, just like this. Okay, it doesn't have to be crazy fast or anything. So what I'm doing is I'm leaning towards one leg. I'm pushing my ribs under my legs and then towards the other leg. Okay, just like this. Okay, right here. And you can get out further if you need more weight on your hands. Okay, and pushing through. Okay. Notice I'm not yanking my head through here, okay? Here's the thing. My head in is for what skill? A forward roll. So if my head goes in, it's probably going to round my back, and that's what we're not wanting to do at the moment. We want a flat back. So you should be looking at your hands. You shouldn't have your head way out here. You don't want that. Your head should be in line with your arms, but your eyes should be looking at your hands. Your head can be up, technically looking at your hands, but not out. There is a difference. Out is no good. It's in the line, but it's still looking at the hands. And go in here, okay? I'm going to do that for about a minute, okay? Now, we're going to transfer to the ground. So, what you need to do is take a second and go get a t-shirt, an old t-shirt that you don't care about stretching out or ruining potentially. I don't know how aggressive you're going to be on the stretching, hopefully not crazy. Or a towel. Grab an old kitchen towel, okay? So what you're going to do, this is basically for us working that are a little more having flexibility issues. So we're going to start with a pike stretch, okay? So what you're going to do is you can flex your feet. You're going to grab your towel and put it around, okay? And you're slowly going to pull yourself. So I'm going to turn sideways so we can see, and we're going to go through some position work, okay? So you're going to hold the towel, throw it around, okay? So we don't even need to pull yet. Basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on our positioning. So I want us to go super round, okay? A lot of us may sit or stretch like this now, just kind of naturally, but we're gonna work on being upright. So we're gonna work on taking our upper, middle, and lower back and pushing them up underneath us. Or think about your ribs and your belly button pushing towards your toes. So up like this. And it's the same muscles that you would use to think about arching your back, okay? You're gonna engage those to combat just sitting rounded. So we're gonna do that like 5 times. So round and up tall. 2, 3, 4, 5. And round and up tall. And round and up tall. You can kind of see I am pulling a little bit of my shoulders back, but I mean just thinking up tall and round and up tall, okay? And then once we're in this up tall shape, we're going to go and pull ourselves down, okay? As far as you can in this up tall shape, okay? Work that. All right, and you just hold it. Now here's the trick with holding it. A lot of us, it's more of a battle of negotiating the pain of stretching than it is, you know, being in that position. It's just, it hurts a lot, and it's like, how am I supposed to hold this and relax? And I have my little trick that I usually use is if I'm gonna hold something for at least 20 seconds, 30 seconds, which is what we're trying to do in the beginning, just hold it for 20, 30 seconds. I'm gonna count to 60, but I'm gonna count to 60 as fast as I can, okay? So I'm trying to trick my brain that's like, oh, I'm gonna do 60 seconds, but I'm counting as fast, which in reality is probably giving me 15 to 20 seconds, which is pretty good to start, especially when it's extremely painful and you're trying to be in those stretches and get deeper, and we need to hit at least 20 to 30 seconds. So it tries to play a little trick on my brain. If I can get to 60 and I can count as fast as possible, for some reason, I don't know why, it just makes my brain and my body feel better about the situation. So, for example, to go here, pulling my toes back, it's going to be painful for me, and going, and I'm thinking, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there we go. Whew. Okay. So, and yeah, I count by tens just because I can count to 10 faster than I can when I get in 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So there you go. It just helps. But you're going to do that, 5 times. So you're going to do that, come up and breathe and relax, okay? And then you go and do it again. Now, another thing that I do is, since it's a lot of, my muscles tend to feel it here, and it's a lot of stretch under my knee and on my hamstrings, then I'll alternate the stretches. So that's a lot of hamstrings. We have 3 straddle base stretches. We have our narrow straddle, we have our medium straddle, and then we have a super wide straddle. What I would suggest is I would do your pikes and your wide straddles. So I do a pike stretch, get into it, do your quick count to 60, come up, go to your wide straddle, do the wide straddle stretching, go back to your pike, do your pike, and alternate. So that way, when you're stretching in your wide straddle, you're stretching more of your hips. So while you're doing your hip stretches, your hamstrings can take a break, and your brain can negotiate the different pain areas versus just one, which seems a little bit overwhelming. Again, this is just kind of what's worked for me, and I was not a flexible person. I'm still not hugely flexible, but I was like a 2x4 when I first started. So initially, when I first get into my wide straddle, I'm just going to, I kind of push down on my legs a little bit, not hard, I'm not shoving to the ground, it's kind of a good support, because what it can do is it allows me to kind of, again, create that flat back instead of sitting here like this. I like to sit up on, okay? I'm also trying to roll my hips slightly underneath me while maintaining that upright posture. And then all I'm doing is kind of going side to side. I'm just kind of feeling the stretch in the hips, just lightly, very easily. Again, this may be more for me than for y'all because I'm older and my hips hurt a lot. So But here, this is nice just to get everything warmed up. And then what I'm going to do is when I'm ready to stretch, I'm going to start with just doing the side stretches, okay? I'm going to take one hand on the inside, one hand on the outside. I'm going to slide out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try my best to get my ribs and my belly button facing down towards my leg, okay? And keeping a flat back and reaching out, just like this, okay? And you're going to hold this again for 20 seconds. However you want to get there, you can do 20 seconds. Like, you can have a timer. You can count super fast. Okay, there we go. And up, and then do the other side. Out. There we go. And as you're stretching, if you go into a stretch and you kind of feel locked up a little bit, like it doesn't feel like it's sitting, proper, or it feels kind of like it's really rough. I mean, you can always come out of it, kind of rock yourself back and forth here, kind of feel a little bit of movement, let your, tendons, your ligaments, your muscles, all that stuff kind of adjust, and then try to go back into it, okay? I'm not saying that it's going to, like, doing that's going to make it not painful. I mean, stretching in general, if we're not flexible, is painful, okay? But at least if you're going into it and something feels pulling a little odd, you might just need to kind of reset, okay, and go out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go one hand in front and over, the other hand over our ear, and we're just trying to roll our armpit up to the ceiling or our chest up to the ceiling, depending on your level of bendiness, your level of flexibility. And then over to the other side here and over. Okay, and then now we're going to go working out towards the middle. Again, if we're not flexible, throw that towel over and you can kind of pull. And if you are flexible, this still works really well. What you'll do is you'll put it on the ball of your foot, or even just on the toes, not too high. You don't want it to slip off and pop you in the face. But you can pull and work on getting the elbows down and pull back and see if you can get your heel up off the ground, okay, while maintaining a flat back. Okay, that's a bit more challenging, but you can do that to increase your level of flexibility. Now out to the front, okay. A lot of us, it's painful. We're working on, I don't want to see this, okay? We can have, I mean, there can be a good 12 inches between your stomach, your chest, and the floor, and you can still get your head kind of on the ground, and that's not what we want. We want to create this really flat back, so you're pushing your tummy down. Now, that is painful, so at this point, what we can do to kind of help ourselves with that is you can go grab a pillow or two. All right, I got one right here. Boom, here's a pillow, okay? I suggest a pillow because a pillow is going to take some of the pressure off of our body weight on the stretch, but also as our body opens to the stretch and we are sinking deeper or wanting to sink deeper into the stretch, the pillow is malleable enough where it will compress with our added body weight and allow us to move down. So the whole idea is what you're going to do is you're going to take the pillow, you're going to put it here, and you can lay on the pillow. And again, you can get two, or if you just have one, you can fold the pillow up like this, put it under your tummy and your chest like this, and now you can just relax, okay? If you may be at a point where it's somewhat painful, not excruciating, but somewhat painful, and if you can rest here for a longer period and just let your hips start to open up, you can stay here for an actual minute. Not a super speed counting minute, but an actual minute. Just relax here, okay? You can have another pillow to prop your head up and just relax, okay? And then you'll go, we did that one. Oh, go back to your pike, and you can actually use the pillow again. You can go here, okay? Notice that it's gonna be, you're gonna want to see how my back is super round, and I'm gonna do that. You can work that, but also I want you to work on maybe sliding the pillow out a little bit further. You can prop your head up, okay? and just work on that. So the pillow being slid out further allows you to push your tummy down, okay? And it doesn't have to be super round. You're still going to be activating some muscles, but you can relax here again for a minute. And then you did that for a minute. And then go back out to your straddle and go down into your straddle. Maybe this time you only use one pillow, or you use a small roll under for your head, okay? And you can just relax here and stay here for a minute, okay? Go back and forth. Go back and forth 5 times. Go back and forth 7 times. It's between your pike and your straddle, and use the pillow, okay? Go for it. Then we'll go on to your splits. So we know the split warm up stretches. We got our lunge. So touching base on the lunge, we got our foot. We can see our toe, okay? If I look down here, I can see my toe, okay? And right now, I look like I'm just getting ready for your standard, you know, baseball team photo for school, because I've got my arms on my knee and I'm just chilling. So basically what we wanted is we want to put our hands on our knee like this. We want to push our shoulders back and up tall, because the weight of our upper body over our hip is pushing our hip down towards the ground, and that's what's causing this stretch. A lot of times we sit here and all that pressure is just pushing into the ground on our foot, and we're like, well, we don't really feel a stretch. Your stretch should be back here, and that comes from sitting back and allowing that pressure to push down on the hip, okay? Now, you're not going to hear any carpet sliding or anything. All I'm going to do is straighten this front leg. Nothing else moved. I have my knee underneath me. I have my foot in front of me like this, but nothing moved. I just went from a bended position to a straightened position, okay? And I'm going to reach down, okay? And from here, I'm going to walk my hands out, okay? And I'm going to stretch. And if we're one of those more flexible people, you can pull the toe back like this. You can use the opposite side hand, okay, to pull, and that's going to give you more of a stretch under your knee, hamstring, and your calf and stuff here. And then we are going to slide into our split, okay? We're going to slide out into our split, okay? Alrighty, but if we're not flexible, okay, we're working on our flexibility. Again, get that pillow. I tend to fold it, and I'm going to keep it under my hips, but also under that front leg, under the hamstring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out, and I've got it under my hips, and a lot more of the front leg. That way, the front leg is a little more propped up. If it's too much under that back leg, you're going to feel extra stretch under the knee and pressure on the knee, pressure on the heel perhaps. So in the beginning, we'll just take some of that pressure off and keep it under the hamstring, okay, on this front leg. You're just going to sit. And make sure you, as soon as you get comfortable, try to readjust every few seconds, kind of readjust that back leg. Make sure that you're staying as square as you can, okay? And again, you can use a secondary pillow to put under your hips a little bit more, okay? So you do this, and if you're not in an excruciating pain and a little bit more comfortable, try to hold it. Try to hold it for a minute. See if you can, okay? Try to give it a go around to hold for a minute. And then come out, and you're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. Do the exact same thing for the middle split, okay? Now, we've done our splits, we've done our pike, and we've done a straddle. So what we're gonna do is we're going to do some shoulder stretches, okay? Shoulder stretches. And these might be a little bit more difficult to see, but we're gonna do our best. So first thing we're gonna do is you're gonna lay down, okay? We're gonna have one hand extended in front. And notice, I mean, I jumped the gun, just have it now. I'm gonna have my other hand here bent, okay? Just like I was getting ready to do a push-up, okay? It's just there, it's support, okay? The same side leg here is gonna come up like this, okay? So I got one hand. This looks like our lizard crawls, except just kind of laying down, okay? I'm gonna walk my hand out so that I can get my armpit flat, okay? And I can kind of twist my body just a little bit to help with that if I need to. And I don't have to have my head completely down just now. I'm just working on that armpit flat. Here's the tricky part. So this is one part of our shoulder stretch, okay? The other part is we're going to take, so my shoulder is actually rolled to the outside right now. It's rolled to the outside. I've got a lot more pressure outside, and I have some underneath, but it's mainly towards the outside of my body, okay? What I want to do is I'm going to take from here, and you may not be able to maintain your armpit completely flat on the ground, which is fine, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to take and you're going to slowly roll that shoulder towards your face, towards the inside. Not a lot. Very small movement. See? Very small movement. Very slow, very easy. Okay? You may feel like you have to try to come up, and if you need to overdo it like this, not shove your shoulder into the ground very lightly, but if you don't have that sense of flexibility, I mean, just even this very lightly. I'm not forcing anything. We don't want to force this. We want to just nice and easy. It went from an outside to an inside. Outside, inside, okay? And then you saw I was kind of doing a lot with my whole body, where you can see my head and my both of my shoulders and my ribs kind of moving. And then when I feel it, I can kind of just let my shoulder do it, okay? This, it takes a little bit, and you got to be light and you got to be easy with it, okay? Some of y'all have flexible shoulders, so it won't be a problem. Some of y'all are kind of struggle with the shoulders, and this is great for it. So we're here again, working this. Let's pretend I don't have a flexible shoulder. Let's say that I'm up here. I'm really stretching down, okay? Stretching. I can still move and try to get this front part of my shoulder a little bit on the ground. I don't have to force it. Just let it relax. Then try to come back and see if I can get a little bit. Then see if I can get that front part of the shoulder, okay? Again, if you can, if you're here, it just moves right through here, okay? That's if you have that flexibility. You can kind of feel that movement. You should be relaxed and let the shoulder move within that little motion. You don't want to be forcing it. Do not be forced, like, do not shove it. Shoulders are, you know, you got to be cautionary with the shoulders. I do not want you guys shoving stuff into the ground and trying to force that, okay? We're just trying to feel shoulder mobility within a stretched position, nice and easy. I'm showing you faster movements that are necessary so you can kind of see that, okay? Then we're going to see if we can, let's see here. Okay, so, alrighty. So what we have here, we got both hands out now, okay? So what we're doing is we're just going from, some of us are here. Some of us are it's very difficult. My armpits are off the ground. I can't really turn much more, okay? But what we want to do is we want to walk our hands out, and we want to get as flat as possible. Nothing other than the ribs being compressed and reaching further in front of me with the hands, nothing else is compensating. My hips, my bottom doesn't rise up, my lower back is not changing. All I'm doing is pushing my armpits to the ground, okay? So I'm not doing a lot of like anything. All I'm doing is just using, matter of fact, if you saw me back here, I shouldn't be crossing my legs, but I mean, that's how relaxed down here should be. This all should just kind of sit flat on the ground, relaxed. There shouldn't be any muscle or like tensing back there. You're just working on getting the armpits to the ground, okay? Going from here to here, okay? And so work on that. You guys know your additional shoulder stretches. As far as shoulder stretching behind you, you're gonna take the towel. I'm scooting up here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put my knuckles in front, so I'm gonna grab. I don't wanna grab underneath, I wanna grab over like this, okay? And again, it's still over, and the knuckles will be facing away from my body. So the reason I'm saying we can use a towel, and you can grab, if you wanna do a super stretch, you can grab close. I'm not super flexible that way, so I'm gonna grab a little bit further apart with my hands. So I'm gonna go here, grabbing further apart. Again, my knuckles are away from my body. So first I'm just going to rest onto my palms, okay? And I can slowly walk my hands back, okay? Once I get to a position where it's a little more difficult to walk my hands back, I can put some pressure on my palms and lift my bottom and scoot forward, okay? Alrighty, and then I can get out. Now, let's say that I get out really far and it's gonna hurt to kind of push back to this position. All you need to do is let go slowly of the towel, and your hands can slowly slide to the outside, and you can round your back down, and then you can come up, okay? So if you get far enough out and you feel like you're having trouble to get back up, you just slowly open your hand and walk your hand to the outside, and then round down to get out of that stretch. Okay, a few other things before I go. This is a long flexibility video. We'll go this way. Okay, so working on calves, quads, hamstrings. What you can do, you can get your hands like little crab claws, lobster, okay, lobster, crab. You're gonna go, you're gonna you feel like just the muscle through here, okay, and all you're gonna do is just kind of grab a lot, and kind of, what I do is I go in and I kind of just roll like this. I kind of do like a pinch and a roll, okay, not a small pinch here, just a pinch and a roll, okay, just like this, okay, just going down, just making my way from the knee right here where you kind of see it start, and then just going down. And then I can go and I can do kind of like the whole piece of the muscle, do the same thing all the way down, all the way down. Yep, all the way down. It doesn't have to be super hard, okay? It wants to be, you want some, it's going to be somewhat painful. On this side it's a little bit more difficult, but again, working the outside and stuff. You definitely want to kind of, you know, go through here and kind of use your hand. If you brought a lacrosse ball home, or you have a lacrosse ball or a racquetball, that works. You can roll out your muscles. You can roll out. If you don't, here, what I want you to do, right along the side, your IT bands, okay, you can just take the palm of your hand and just do small circles. You can go up and down, or small circles. I have a tendency to do up and down, but you're going to do small up and down while applying pressure all the way down to the top of your knee. Boop, 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 boop. And do the other side, okay? Just like this. Boom. Yep. Do that. You can do it for a time. You can say, okay, I'm going to just repeat this for, you know, a minute, or you can do a number. You can be like, okay, I'm going to do 20 times. So this is 1, 2, okay? You can work that. You can also do, you know, same thing, stretch with the hamstrings, work through the hamstrings. When you're doing deep stretching, if this is all you're doing, it's really great, because I mean, it's actually almost feels like a workout doing the stretching. But you can do a couple of deep stretches, warm up, okay, pike, narrow straddle, what you need to do. And then, so if you're gonna do like 10, you know, after you've done like 2, go in, kind of massage where you feel some of that pain, okay? If you feel some of the pain, like, you know, through here, you know, you can kind of massage out through there. If you feel it in your hamstring, massage through here, okay? And when I'm doing the hamstring is I'm basically getting like this and just kind of pinching but cupping in the fingers. Now, that's not a whole lot, but you can see I'm just kind of pushing in and just kind of working along one kind of line. Just working along one kind of line. Sometimes the outside, sometimes the underneath. Depends where I'm feeling a lot of pain or tightness when I'm doing the stretches. And I'll kind of just try to massage that out a little bit and it'll let you go deeper, and then see if you can feel a little bit more comfortable in the stretch, and then sit in that stretch for a minute, okay? You can also work along the hip line. What I do is I take my thumbs like this and I kind of just do small circles or in and out along my hips, okay? And that'll help too for like middle split and some of the split stretches and some of the side stretches, just to kind of make that feel better. Few additional stretches we can work on if you want. These are bonus stretches for hips. I'm trying to think of the best way to demonstrate this one. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to sit in a nice easy middle type straddle, as far as I say mid, like not close and not super wide, like a mid distance, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my legs and I put it in almost like a hurdler stretch here, okay? Okay, and this is perfectly fine. If you have more flexible hips, what you can do is you can get a little bit more on top, okay? Like this. And then what we're going to do is you're going to try to go out to the middle, okay? This one's a bit painful, okay? And the more that you can adjust your body to stretch towards the middle, making it come closer a little bit over here, you're gonna feel a huge stretch on the hip. Again, don't force these stretches. You wanna relax into them. You wanna feel, like I felt some extra tension and pain through here, so I would massage, through here. I'd massage the top of, right here, this small muscle that goes from your hip down in is a hip flexor muscle, okay? It's a very small muscle, but we feel it a lot, and I'll take my thumb and kind of massage in through here along that hip flexor, and then I would go back into the stretch and see how it feels. And if it feels more comfortable, then I can go a little bit deeper and I can hold it for a little bit longer, and that will help open up the hips and stuff. So those are some basic stretches to get started with. Work on that, like just talking through this and not even doing all the stretches. This is kind of a long video, so you can set aside 40 minutes to just doing stretch work, okay? And if you do that, you're going to come back. A lot of nagging injuries will start to disappear because the body has a better alignment during your skills, okay? And you're going to find that you expend a lot less muscle and energy during some skills, particularly like handstand, press handstand stuff, casting handstand stuff. All that is a lot easier. Even cartwheels and round-offs can become easier because the body is traveling along a singular line. When the body has to go out of that line, other things have to start compensating. Muscles start to have to start compensating to make sure that the movement that we're doing can go from A to B, that it can actually finish the way we need it to tag on whatever it is, back handspring or whatever it may be. But if it keeps a straight line, then no other muscles have to come into play. Nothing has to compensate to try to make sure that that singular movement finishes properly or in a certain specified way. It just goes, and it's a lot less energy expended. Our muscles start to feel better, and again, because we're in a better line, those nagging injuries start to disappear. So I hope this helps out. If you have questions, you can send them to Cami, or you can, probably post them on the comments, on the YouTube comments or whatever. I'm not sure how they have that all set up, but anyway, I hope it helps, and I'll be adding more stuff later on. Thank you.